Všetkým ešte raz príjemný dobrý deň. Moje meno je Zuzana Straková-Venclová a dnes vás budem sprevádzať. Pre tých, ktorí ste prišli sem práve v týchto chvíľach, dovolte, aby som aj vás privítala na už 5. medzinárodnej konferencii Slovakia Tech Forum Expo Košice, kde sme zameraní na vedu, výskum a inovácie. A ako sa tak rozhliadám po tejto sále, tak naozaj vám musím poďakovať, že vás je tu skutočne hojne a že ste nám v tomto predvolebnom čase dali prednosť napríklad pred práve volebnými mítingami. My tu totižto dnes rozhodne nebudeme sľubovať, ale budeme predstavovať skutočné riešenia a inovácie, ktoré našu krajinu, Slovensko, posunú vpred a pomôžu jej k napredovaniu a ukazovaniu jej potenciálu. My tu samozrejme dnes nebudeme rozdávať ani balóniky, ani pukance a ani tie dôležité predmety, ktoré v konečnom dôsledku aj tak nájdu využitie len napríklad vo vašich zásuvkách, ale ak by ste veľmi teda chceli, nájdeme tu aj pitnú vodu, aj na kávičku vás pozývame už tu v priestoroch Kultúrparku alebo aj vonku a komu by náhodou dnes chýbali traky, tak aj traky tu budú, konkrétne food trucky s malým občerstvením, budú zaparkované pred Kultúrparkom, takže každý si príde na svoje a ak sú medzi vami nadšenci aut, tak ako ste už mnohí počuli, mnohí ešte nie, keď máte radi menšie autíčka, tak Volvo ponúka prezentáciu zaujímavých elektromobilov, takže ich pokojne môžete vyskúšať. Dajte tomu, čo to dá, pretože Volvo už čoskoro vyrobí ďalšie sériovo, tuto nedaleko Košic, takže pokojne ich skúšajte, čoskoro budú nové. No, dámy a páni, je pravdou, že už o 11 dní budeme vedieť, ktorým smerom, alebo nazvime to tak, že kam sa bude uberať naša krajina, a že či tá nová vláda, či to nové vládne zoskupenie naozaj dá zelenú mnohým myšlienkám, ktoré tu dnes odznejú. My by sme boli radi, pretože Slovensko skutočne tú zelenú potrebuje a v konečnom dôsledku aj celá naša planéta. Zelené témy máme ale naplánované na zajtra. Dnes sa budeme teda venovať investičnému a inovačnému potenciálu Slovenska. Túlať sa budete môcť medzi 3 stagemi. Prvý sme vysielali teda už sem aj do tejto sály, teraz sa nachádzate vo Volvo Cars stage, tretí je hore na poschodí Deep Talk stage, v konečnom dôsledku máte programy, prípadne ochotné hostesky vám všetko zopakujú a vysvetlia, budú vás navigovať, ale radi vás pozveme aj do workshopov, prípadne na expo výstavu a aj na spomínaný filmový festival, ale ten bude až v novembri, ale v novembri to sa volá sála, čiže november, musíte vyhľadať sálu a tam si budete môcť oddychnúť pri zaujímavých filmoch. Dámy a páni, my nemôžeme zabudnúť na partnerov a znova im musíme poďakovať, pretože aj tento stage podporil hlavný generálny partner Volvo Cars a Top Auto, ďakujeme im za požičanie vozidiel, taktiež hlavnému partnerovi Sario a Centru vedecko-technických informácií, mediálnym ďalším partnerom a všetkým tým, ktorí toto podujatie podporili. No a dôležité informácie nájdete aj na web stránke slovakiatech.sk, kde s nami môžete aj komunikovať. Vyhľadajte si sekciu otázky a nezabudnite, že ak chcete položiť otázku napríklad prezentujúcemu, ktorý vás zaujal, tak môžete urobiť, len si zvoľte správny stage. Čiže naklikáte si stage a až potom môžete položiť otázku, lebo inak sa to objaví niekde úplne inde. Nuž, tak tieto administratívne veci máme za sebou. A je pravda, že dnes to tu bude teda o inováciách a vždy, keď sa na Slovensku objaví napríklad aj nová investícia, tak nielen vláda, že sa jej to podarilo, ale v konečnom dôsledku aj tí ľudia, ktorých sa to týka. A ak sa ešte aj táto investícia objaví práve na východe Slovenska, tak je to o to lepšie. Práve preto sa v posledných mesiacoch veľmi veľká pozornosť upiera na Valeliky pri Košiciach, na priemyselný park, kde bude teda sídliť švédska automobilka Volvo. Nielenže prinesie prácu naozaj tisíckam ľudí v tomto regióne, ale celý košický región pozdvihne a prinesie mu to investície v hodnote až 30 miliónov eur, čo naozaj nie je málo. toto všetko, podľa mňa, by mohlo aj tak zvrátiť tú situáciu, že východniari budú cestovať za prácou do Bratislavy a už to nebude tak. Už bude Bratislava cestovať sem na východ, takže tie cesty budú zaplnené opačným smerom. No a možno, že práve pre tú novú prácu to aj zníži spotrebu alkoholu v tomto regióne, lebo veď teda východniari to patrične oslávia niektorí a viete, čo sa hovorí, že koľko teda musí vypiť východniar, aby mal 0,5 promile alkoholu v krvi? No 3 dni nič. Tak, dámy a páni, poriadna východniarská zábava sa začína v tejto chvíli. Kto vie, že či aj páni, ktorí vystúpia na tomto pódiu, už zažili takúto poriadnu žúrovačku. Možno nám to prezradia, ale dovolte, aby som ich privítala. Budem rada, ak k nám príde riaditeľ Volvo Cars Kosice Björn Helden, ktorého sme už počuli rozprávať hneď vo vedľajšej sále, ale teraz už bude mať konkrétnu prezentáciu a spolu s ním príde aj Per Jakobson, ktorý je vedúci globálnej stratégie obstarávania a obchodnej kancelárie za Volvo Cars Group. Privítajme ich, nech sa páči. Gentlemen, stage is yours.
Thank you.
Hello. Thank you for coming, for showing interest in getting to know more about Volvo Cars. It was a little bit just in time from the presentation in the other auditorium, but we have just caught our breath here and getting ready for the show to tell you a little bit more about what are the strategies and the products and things within Volvo. How is the transformation going, etc. And Per will talk about that. I will, after that, talk more about the Kosice project that we are building a new plant here and what we put in it and why we do it, etc. So I think I'll leave the word to you, Per, and you tell them a little bit about all our fantastic products and innovations and so on, and I sit down in the chair and relax for a little while and
Perfect.
Come back.
Thank you very much, Björn.
Welcome.
And Dobre rano, Kosice. Ako sa máte? Yeah. I will continue in English because that's as much Slovak as I can. So I will tell you a little bit about Volvo Cars when we get the presentation up, why we exist, what our cars and strategy is all about. And for us, everything starts with the purpose. So why do Volvo Cars?
Hang on, Per. I think we have a problem.
Okay.
Houston, there is.
Houston, we're not connected.
Yes, so we
I was just looking at the
we'll see if
scene.
yeah, exactly. The screens in front work.
Here we are.
Here we go.
Here
Yes.
we are. So everything starts with the purpose. So why does Volvo Cars exist? And we exist to provide freedom to move in the personal, sustainable, and safe way. And I will tell you a little bit about those 3 values because that's really at the core of our company. So we want to make mobility personal because all of us are different and we have different needs. You have different needs from me and I have different needs from you. And how we move around and how we use cars to live our lives differ. And we want to make your life as less complicated as possible, that you just have the mobility solution to take you wherever you want to go, wherever you need to go there. The second pillar is sustainability. Personal transportation today represents more than 10% of the global CO2 emissions in the world, and we need to decarbonize the way we have personal transportation. We know that we are part of the problem, but we also know that we can be part of the solution. So sustainability is at the core of what Volvo Cars stands for. Last but not least is safety. One of our founders back in 1927 said that cars are driven by people and therefore they must be safe. Today we can say in the future cars might not be driven by people and therefore they need to be safe. Regardless, Volvo Cars is here to protect you and your loved ones when you entrust us with the most valuable thing you have, your life, when you put yourself in our cars. We work very hard to make sure that you are safe. And every company has a purpose. you might think this is just any other purpose for any other company. For me, the reason to work for Volvo Cars, get up in the morning and get the things done that you need to get done, really boils down to having that freedom to move and explore, connect, and discover new cultures. I had the privilege after university to spend 2 years in the US. It was a great time. I didn't have kids then, no mortgage. I got my paycheck every second week. I was basically consuming all my salary every week. So I was working Monday through Friday and then exploring the US in the weekend. Taking my car, going to more or less every state, maybe not all 50, but 30 plus at least, over the course of 2 years. Coming from Sweden also, it's very common in the 19th century that people emigrated. So we have relatives in my family in the US, ancestors that left in search for a better life. Growing up, I remember the American letters, as we call them. My grandparents were receiving letters from their siblings. And amazingly enough, through generations, that mail exchange has continued. So when I was in the US, my father said, I would like to come and visit you. I want to visit our relatives in California. Unfortunately, at the time, he was still working and life came in between, but a few years ago when he retired, when he turned 70, we said, Dad, let's go, now it's time. And we went to the US, we visited our relatives in California. We took Highway 1 from San Francisco down to San Diego. And I was sitting there in the car next to my father with my smaller brother in the back seat, and I was thinking, wonder if my children and grandchildren can do this. Will they have this freedom to move? Can they explore Highway 1 and the scenery that you have there? Or will the wildfires and heavy rains have destroyed this? Or will we put a ban on personal transportation so that you can no longer go and explore? The reason I work to Volvo Cars is for my and your children and grandchildren to be able to have that experience and explore the world just like I'm sure you have done, just as I did, both working in the US and also with bringing my father over. So that's really what Volvo Cars is about for me. Looking back a little bit where we are coming from, we are almost 100 years, founded in 1927, on the values of quality and safety. Through our history, we have been a pioneer in safety. You probably put on your three-point seat belt when you get into the car. That's a Volvo car invention. If you have kids, hopefully you have a rear-facing child seat in your car, because that's the safest way to travel. That's a Volvo car invention. Or the side curtain, for example, that protects you in case you have a side collision. That's also a Volvo car innovation. So safety is really at the core of our brand and what we stand for. We have grown over the years. We are now a truly global company with production in 3 regions, sales in more than 100 markets, a bit north of 600,000 cars sold last year. And with the new factory here in Kosice, we are adding another important footprint in Europe, which is our home region. Our current lineup, we have, like Björn mentioned, different types of cars, SUVs, wagons, sedans, crossovers. All models are available as plug-in hybrids. As of 2020, all models are also available fully electric, and all cars going forward will be full electric. Our latest car, the EX90, was launched back in December. But things are going very quickly at Volvo Cars. So if you paid attention to the intro of Björn before, Maybe you can see that there's one car missing on this slide. So, to the one in the audience that can identify the missing car, you will get 100 cars from me. Anyone? EX30? Yes, it's right. You get to collect this later on. Some Volvo trivial. So where do we want to go from here? We have set high ambitions. By mid-decade, we want to more or less double the sales volume to 1.2 million cars. We want half of our sales to be electric and half of the sales to be done online. Sustainability is at the core of the company, as I said, so we are aiming to reduce the CO2 footprint per car by 40% by 2025, comparing to 2018 baseline. To do that, we are investing heavily, and to invest heavily, as all of you know, you need to be profitable, so we're also aiming for sustainable profitability in order to keep investing in the future. So how are we doing then, you might ask? So I think we are on a pretty good track. So some of the proof points of that we are progressing towards our strategy you can see here. We recently announced a new battery factory in Gothenburg, together with our partner Northvolt in the JV Northvolt, I should say. We are introducing new production technology with mega casting, which will also be used here in Kosice, where you basically die cast the whole underbody into one piece. We have revealed the new EX90 and the new EX30, as previously mentioned. We have taken the full ownership of a company that's called Sensact, that is developing the AD software for our autonomous cars and driver assist technologies. And last but not least, we are establishing the plant here in Kosice to create the triangle of Europe and increasing our production capacity here in Europe. So where are we heading? I think we are heading to a bright future, and I hope that all of you want to join us on that journey. So I will tell you a little bit more about how we see the future. First of all, we see the future being all electric. Sustainability is at the core. Today, 2/3 of the emissions of a car is from the tail. With full electric cars, we can remove that and have more sustainable mobility. In order to drive that transformation, it needs to be easy to charge. Just as easy as going into a gas station and plug the hose in the car and fuel up. Charging needs to be accessible both when you are away from home with public charging. We are establishing preferential pricing, easy access to find charging points and pay charging points, charging from your mobile app. Or when you're at home, where we're working on a complete home energy management system where you have everything integrated for what you need to charge your home with battery and charger and potentially also solar cells if you like to. I spoke about personal, and our cars are more and more defined by the software of the car. It's really becoming a computer on wheels, and this is the core compute that we're putting in the next generation of car is an extremely powerful brain. It allows the car to think and process information like never before. It also allows you to personalize your car to make it your own. Pretty much like you do with your iPhone today, where you choose which apps am I using, what's the user interface I want to have. We will bring more of that functionality into the car. And last but not least, the days when the car was at its best, when it rolled off the production line, is over. So today, that's only the beginning. And the car will only get better and better and better as new software are available and we are able to update your car over the air. See. So I talked about the brain. The next element of the car is the eyes, and that's to secure that safety that I talked about. So the next generation car have better eyes than before, connected to a better brain than before, that keeps you safer than ever before. So being able to detect obstacles in your way, regardless of the weather, we are combining radar, LiDAR, and camera technology to give the car the best vision. And the new thing here is really on the LiDAR, which gives you the possibility to identify objects and for the car to understand there is just not something in the way, but they can understand what that object actually is. And we are deploying a lot of technology in our cars, but we are not deploying technology for technology's sake. We are deploying technology to make the car safer. All the technology we have in the car is there for a purpose, and in this case, with the LiDAR, the purpose is to keep you safer and the people around you safer. So we're a tech company, but we like to call ourselves smart tech company that brings the right tech into the car for a purpose. And we are not doing this alone. We are partnering with tech leaders, big and small, in various areas. We are a firm believer that collaborators win. We're a small, relatively small player, but we are partnering up with the best in each area in order to have the best solution for you as a customer. And we are a firm believer in the future. We think the future is bright. We are investing in the future. We are investing in the future here in Kosice. And the biggest investment through the history of Volvo Cars will be our new plant here in Kosice. And I will hand over to Björn to present more about our plans for the plant here in Kosice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Per. I hope you all got a better understanding of what the future looks like in the Volvo Cars and all the things that are happening. It's a huge transition and transformation that the industry is in. This is not only Volvo Cars, of course, it's a lot of the other brands as well. And a lot of what Per talked about, we believe that Volvo, we are on the right way. We have products for the future that will be very positively accepted by our customers, meaning that we need more production capacity because we need to make these fantastic cars somewhere. And as you know, here in Kosice, we're taking the next step on building a new car plant. And this car plant is going to be for only electrical cars, as mentioned before. All new cars we develop are on an electrical platform. So on the picture behind me, you can also see there's a picture from actually the Vallaliki site as it looks now. There's a lot of work ongoing, a lot of excavators and bulldozers and trucks, etc., out there to really make it happen. So things are really moving, and I will show you more here where we're going. That means also that Kosice is our new hometown. We have facilities in other countries as well, like in Belgium and China and US and so on. We all call them our hometowns. So now Kosice is also a Volvo hometown. And we have now onboarded our first local employees, and there will of course come many more in the coming years. We have an office in the O Park shopping center in the tower. And we are, when we're here, enjoying the life in the city of Kosice, and we are enjoying the good restaurants and all the people on the streets and so on. And I must say, it's a fantastic city, and the atmosphere that we can see there. And of course, also the nature. I think a lot of us coming from Sweden and other countries also are nature lovers, and you have a lot of nice surroundings here. The mountains are fantastic. I actually had the opportunity to go cycling all of Saturday, and it brings home a lot of memories. As mentioned, we're building a new state-of-the-art factory. And as Per mentioned, we have a lot of state-of-the-art going into the products, but the same thing goes for the production facilities. We are putting in innovative technology, and a lot of it is also going into to be more sustainable, environmental friendly production. We also have the state-of-the-art production processes, taking in new technology. And we also have something we call the human-centric touch to this, where we try to put the operator and the people working in the plant in the center to make it a human-centric workplace. If we go back a little bit and look at the background while we are doing this, building a new plant, we can say that, as mentioned, we need more production capacity. And there was a selection process, and we came to the conclusion that Kosice is the perfect place to build this. And this supports our sustainable growth to build more production capacity in Europe, because a lot of our customers are in Europe. It's our biggest market. And it's also supporting the strategy of build where you sell. It will, of course, increase our production capacity here where the demand is, but it also, we don't need to ship cars from other parts of the world and get tariffs, etc., and also from a sustainability point of view as well. The location here in Kosice is very strategic. We have a good infrastructure. There's a lot of suppliers around, being the automotive industry in this part of Europe. So we believe that Kosice is a really strong point for our localization in Europe in general. And of course, smart solutions for a safe and efficient plant. What do we do in this plant to make it really safe and efficient? Well, we look at the industrial structure. That is one part. We try to make this plant as compact as possible, because reducing cost and also having a better overview of what's happening in the plant. But at the same time, we have to be open for things we don't know about the future. So we try to build it in a way that we can build out and change it over time in a flexible way. Also, as mentioned before, the location here is Kosice, we believe is very good from a logistic point of view. There is a lot of supplier in this surroundings, and we're trying to build on that with our logistic setup. Also, I mentioned the processes as such. We try to make them as lean as possible, as efficient as possible, in order for us to have short lead times through the plant, have a high quality, being able to detect any quality issues before it leaves the plant, and also keeping the running costs down. The processes that we put in, we're also thinking about the environment, and we try to put in sustainable solutions that are also good for running operation later on. And of course, this will reduce the energy usage per car as well. Coming back also to the human-centric design, I was saying that we want to put the operator and the people working in the plant in the center. And how do we do that then? We try to have this concept we call the single roof concept. We try to build together the different facilities as much as possible. So it's easier to move around, it's easier to have a good teamwork and interact with each other. And it's also safer, because we try to separate the material flow and the people flow, so we don't have any collisions and we have accidents by that. We also try to make the production lines as simple as possible and as compact as possible. And this will also make it much easier to run the plant afterwards. The management will have a much more visual overview of what's happening and can detect any problems in the production in a much quicker and easier way, and in order to then fix it and make sure it doesn't happen again. So these are some of the logic thinkings that we have behind when we start to design the plant as such. So just to summarize that in a nutshell, we are building a modern human-centric workplace, putting the people working there in the center. It is going to be, from the very start, climate neutral operation, only green energy. We will have optimized flows and logistic flows, as mentioned, and we work with the environmental parts as much as possible to really put in a good environmental efficiency. And this is what it could look like. Or actually, this is a 3D rendering using the exact drawings that we have now. So if we would, then it could of course be smaller changes, but this is very close to the final state. Just to take a few shots on highlights on what does this plant deliver then. Of course, it's 100% electrical cars. We have a maximum capacity of about 250,000 cars per year. About 1,500 employees per shift, and that could be up to 3 shifts. It's 45 jobs per hour facility, meaning that every hour there is 45 ready cars being rolled out from the lines. And what you see here on the picture, the buildings, they represent about 300,000 square meters of footprint. So it's a big facility. And as mentioned earlier, we have also a lot of complex parts in this plant. I will show you now what we build in, what type of shops we have. And just to know, it is the most advanced, most complex automotive production facility there is in Slovakia. We are having in-house stamping. We are having in-house mega-casted parts, big aluminum parts for the body structure. We have a machining facility where we machine the parts coming out of the mega-casting. We have a body shop. We have a paint shop, and we have a final assembly. And normally the plants are built with a body shop, paint shop, and a final assembly, but we have these other things. And we also have propulsion. Within propulsion, we are going to make our own electrical engines. We're going to make them in-house, and we're going to put the battery packs together. We're not manufacturing the cells themselves, but the cells are shipped in, and we put them together in the battery pack and build it together and ship it into the final assembly to be built into the car. And then the outbound, and 100% of the cars going out are going to be shipped out on rail. And this is also a sustainability initiative that we're taking. Of course, the plant needs utilities. It needs to be provided by all type of energy and so on. Could also infrastructure is important. All the roads inside the plant, but also the ones leading up to it, of course. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of big areas also around here. And there is space protection here on this site for build-out. There is no decisions made for any expansions at this point. But if those decisions should come, there is possibility to do that as well here. We keep coming back to the sustainability parts, and it is key for our future success. And there are mainly 3 areas which Volvo Cars are aiming for, and it's the climate actions, and then we're basically talking about reducing greenhouse gases. And then it's the circular economy. You're talking about recycling and waste reduction and those type of things, which is very important. And then, last but not least, the responsible business. We want to promote the culture of responsible behavior. And that is very important. That is something that we have in our genes, and we want to also be very proud of. So what does this mean for the Volvo Car Kosice establishment then, if we look at these 3 areas? Well, you can say that when it comes to climate actions, we are reducing the energy used per producing each individual car by about 30%. And as mentioned, we have 100% fully electric vehicles being produced, and we are going to be climate neutral from the very start of starting this plant. Looking at the circular economy, we're going to do a lot of waste reduction. The waste that when it comes in, when you have a lot of parts packaged in different type of packages, etc., this waste we are going to reduce by about 40%. Also goes for the water consumption, reduction by 40%. And the buildings that we build, the ones that you saw, we're going to have a LEED Gold certificate on those, meaning that we build these buildings with a sustainable way of doing it. When it comes to responsible business, we aim to have 50% women in this plant. And that is something we strive for in all our plants and facilities around the world. Health and safety is, of course, very important for us, and we also aim for the highest safety and ergonomic standards within this facility. So there's many things that we're taking big leaps on when establishing us here. I mentioned that the business responsibility is very important for us, and taking responsibility for things like that. And that goes not only for us being in the Volvo Cars employees, it goes also for all our partners, all of the suppliers, all of you that is working for us maybe later on and so on. It's very important that you also have the same mindset and work for this. And it's also part of the selection process when we select partners, that we feel that you have these ideas of working conditions and human rights are in the right place, caring for the environment, and we have the business integrity when it comes to anti-corruption, conflict of interest, and fair competition and things like that. So that is very important. Talking about partners also, I also want to again say that we have upstairs the possibility to talk to our purchasers also. I think there is maybe not so many slots left, but if you haven't booked the time yet and are interested, you can go up and see if there's still some slots to also talk to our procurement team. Project time plan is probably something you wonder on. Okay, so how this nice plant that we just saw, how is that going to be reality? Well, we had the site selection. That was last summer, beginning of last summer, and actually this week we're having the land handover. We have signed the purchase agreement for the land, and I would like to thank our partners, Vallaliki Industrial Park. We have them over here in the corner. Thank you very much for all the fantastic work that you're doing on preparing the lands, and like you saw in the first picture, all of that work is administrated by our partner, Vallaliki Industrial Park. Thank you. And of course, the building and design, it's going in parallel, and that was what you saw on that picture. That is the result of that build design that we're doing, and we are planning to start construction on the land that we saw in the end of this year. That's when we start piling and start doing the construction and raising the buildings, etc. We will start equipment installation end of 24, beginning of 25. And of course, recruitment will be done continuously, but the main recruitment for the big chunk of people working in the plant will happen in the end of 25 and go on for about 1 year in order for us to be ready for starting production in the end of 26. That is the plan. And for those of you who wonder how much people are recruiting in these different phases, we can say that we call this the first phase here this year and well into next year. We call it the construction phase. Here we recruit about 100 people here locally, key talents, management positions, some specialists, etc. That's about the level. And then we move into the process and equipment phase. This is like similar, about 150 people, a lot of project leaders, specialists, and things like that. And then we get into the main ramp-up phase, which will start in 25 in order to be ready for the first shift, etc. Then we'll have managers, production managers, team leaders, operators, all of this, about 1,500 per shift. And of course, those shifts will stagger into 27, so there will be massive years of recruitment over those years. But in the end, to make this happen, you can make plans and you can do everything, but it's all about people. If you don't have the right people, it will never happen. So for us within Volvo Cars, and I think Per also talked a little bit about that, teamwork, collaboration, it's a key thing. It's very important for us. also diversity. We want people from different background and things to be part of this teamwork and be inclusive. The environment as such is really much about caring for people, developing together, learning, building the team. And if you're one of those persons that feel that this is the type of team I want to work on, there's all chances the next couple of years to join the team. And there could be different ways of joining the team. It's not always working for Volvo Cars. We also, as mentioned, there's lots of partners that will be important to make this happen. So there are different ways to join this journey, and I hope there will be many of you that in one way or another will help us to make this happen and join the journey. So also, I would before ending, I would like to also make some commercial for the Volvo Cars living room, which is over in the corner in the exhibition hall over there. And here you can talk to the team. You can meet the team. There are different slots for different of the shops. If you're more interested in mega casting, for instance, or body in white, there is a slot. You can go over and talk to the specific team that works in that area. And also for the talent acquisition and possibility of job postings, there's also people over there. So please go over there and talk to the guys. And by that, I think our time is up.
Yep.
And hopefully you've got a good view of our technology on the products and what we do, and also for the actual plant that will stand on this plot here in a few years. Thank you very much and enjoy the day. Thank you.
Váš potlesk patrí Bjornovi Heldenovi a Párovi Jakobsonovi, týmto sympatickým pánom, ktorí nám začali doslova písať na tomto pódiu príbeh švédskej, teraz už aj košickej automobilky Volvo.